What is this tire?
That's the hard tire, Max.
Why? Why are we on the hard?
When the dust finally settled over Circuit de Barcelona, Catalunya, most thought Max Verstappen had just endured a tough day at the office. But now, F1 is on fire, not over tire degradation, not over DRS zones, but because of a moment that many are calling the most blatant act of on-track aggression in recent memory. What started as a standard fight for fourth place between Verstappen and George Russell has detonated into something far more serious. A sport-wide debate about ethics, retaliation, and whether Formula One's reigning king just revealed a darker side of his racecraft. New onboard footage, slow-motion replays, frame-by-frame breakdowns, and the verdict from experts. This wasn't clumsy, it wasn't desperate, it looked intentional. Let's break it down. Lap 63rd Spanish Grand Prix, tires screaming, pressure mounting. Red Bull tells Max, "Give the place back." So he does, briefly. But then, just as Russell pulls alongside, Verstappen guns it and steers directly into the Mercedes. No dive bomb, no last-minute misjudgment, just cold, controlled contact. Former champion Nico Rosberg saw it live and didn't hold back. It looks like retaliation, black flag. Johnny Herbert, even sharper, clear as day, deliberate. Anthony Davidson, usually as neutral as they come, was visibly stunned. He had control. This was no accident. This isn't a bunch of washed-up ex-drivers talking from the couch. These are FIA insiders, former champions, stewards, people who've seen it all, and they're all pointing at the same thing. Max crossed a line. And Verstappen's reaction? A masterclass in deflection. Does it matter? That's your opinion. No apology, no acknowledgement, just the casual arrogance of a man who believes he's untouchable. The following day, a neutered PR statement trickled onto social media. No mention of Russell, no real ownership, just hollow optics. But here's the thing. Max might have just set fire to his own championship hopes. He's now at 11 penalty points on his super license. One more, and boom, race ban. If anything even slightly shady goes down in Montreal, he's out. And in case you haven't noticed, Verstappen's not leading the title race. Oscar Piastri is. And McLaren isn't just knocking on the door. They've kicked it down. Every point counts. One DNF, that could be game over. Let's not forget the psychology. Max isn't used to playing catch-up. He's used to dominating. And now he's chasing. McLaren's fast. Ferrari's lurking. Red Bull's strategies are shaky. The armor's cracking. And this Spain incident? It wasn't just a bad move. It was a red flag. A sign that maybe, just maybe, the pressure is getting to him. There's also history here. Russell and Verstappen have clashed before. Baku 2024. Remember that? The infamous put-your-head-in-the-wall threat? This isn't a rivalry. It's a grudge. And what happened in Spain felt less like racing, more like unfinished business being settled. Russell didn't escalate. He barely needed to. "I just got crashed into. I've seen that move in video games, not Formula One." Ouch. Some say Max snapped after being told to yield. Others think this is just who he's becoming when he's not in control. And then there's the Red Bull angle. Is there tension between Verstappen and the pit wall? The team told him to play nice. He didn't. That's not just insubordination, that's insurrection. Look, Max Verstappen is a generational talent, but as Johnny Herbert said, he doesn't need to race like this. When he's focused, he's invincible. When he's angry, he's dangerous. And now, the FIA is under the microscope. Do they have the courage to act? Or will they blink, afraid to challenge a driver of Verstappen's stature? Because if they don't, if another incident happens in Montreal and Max gets banned, they won't just lose control of a championship, they'll lose credibility. So let's hear it from you. Was this a heat-of-the-moment error or a calculated hit? And if the FIA doesn't come down harder, what does that say about who really runs Formula One? Drop your take in the comments. Lewis Hamilton isn't the kind of driver who shies away from tough questions or tough seasons. So when whispers started swirling around the paddock, suggesting he might already be thinking of walking away from Ferrari, before even finishing a full year in red, he didn't just brush it off, he addressed it head-on and made his intentions crystal clear. But first, let's rewind a bit, because how we got to this point is a story in itself. When Hamilton shocked the F1 world by announcing his move to Ferrari, the anticipation was massive. Headlines exploded, hopes soared. A 7-time world champion joining the sport's most legendary team? The romance practically wrote itself. Only romance doesn't always translate to race wins. So far, the 2025 season has been a roller coaster Ferrari didn't ask for. The SF25's performance has been shaky, McLaren has run away with the lead, and Hamilton, who joined the team to chase his elusive 8th title, has yet to step onto a Sunday podium. Sure, he won the sprint in China, but that high was immediately flattened by a brutal double disqualification. Meanwhile, Charles Leclerc has been the one bringing home the podiums, and Ferrari's sitting second in the constructors' standings. Not bad on paper, but a distant second to McLaren's 362-point haul. In real terms, the dream season hasn't materialized. Cue the inevitable speculation. Is Hamilton regretting the move? Is Ferrari about to hit reset again? Is Fred Vasseur, the man who brought Hamilton to Maranello, on the chopping block? At the Canadian Grand Prix, Hamilton faced these questions directly, and he didn't hold back. In front of the media in Montreal, Lewis was asked, point blank, about the rumors surrounding Vasseur's future and his own. His answer? Firm, passionate, and very, very clear. "I literally just started," Hamilton said. "I'm here for the long haul. No cryptic language, no dodging, just a straightforward dismissal of the idea that he's already thinking of packing it in." Hamilton made it clear that he didn't sign with Ferrari for a nostalgia tour or a final cash grab. He came to win, with Fred Vasseur leading the charge. And about those reports suggesting Vasseur could be replaced, Hamilton seemed genuinely surprised. "Not nice to hear that there are stories like that out there," he said. "Fred's the reason I'm here. I love working with him, and I want him here. I believe he's the one to take us to the top." That's about as strong an endorsement as you're going to get. And he didn't stop there. Asked again whether a leadership change would be welcome, he shut it down completely. "Certainly not something I would be supportive of." Hamilton also touched on what it's been like adjusting to Ferrari, and why, despite the early frustrations, he's not discouraged. "The car I'm racing right now isn't one I had a hand in developing," he explained. "Charles knows it inside and out. That gives him an edge. But I'm enjoying the challenge." He confirmed Ferrari's development has already turned toward 2026, and that he's excited to help shape the future, not walk away from it. There's been a lot of noise lately. Whispers, headlines, even some downright dramatic speculation flying out of Italy. And Lewis Hamilton has finally had enough. If you've been reading stories about Ferrari shaking things up, or Hamilton already questioning his future in red, buckle up, because the 7-time champ just responded, and he did it with trademark fire. Ferrari's 2025 season hasn't exactly gone as scripted. With Lewis Hamilton finally suiting up in scarlet and Charles Leclerc already in top form, fans expected fireworks, title fights, champagne sprays, maybe even a shot at ending the team's championship drought. Instead, frustration, a car that hasn't clicked, podiums that feel like small victories, not stepping stones, and McLaren flying away at the top of the standings with nearly double the points. Now, with no Grand Prix wins on the board, and Lewis still adjusting to life inside the SF25, some corners of the Italian press are stirring the pot. The rumor mill has roared to life, and the latest target? Ferrari team principal Fred Vasseur. Reports from outlets like Corriere della Sera and Gazzetta dello Sport have suggested Vasseur's job is on the line. They claim that higher-ups in Maranello aren't thrilled with the lack of progress, and that Le Mans boss Antonello Coletta, fresh off back-to-back Le Mans wins, could be waiting in the wings. To add more spice, Red Bull's Christian Horner was even falsely linked to a Ferrari approach. You can see where this is going, but not everyone's buying the chaos narrative. In fact, Ferrari officially shut down the speculation. And Lewis? He's had it with the noise. Speaking to media ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix, Hamilton didn't just defend Vasseur, he went all in. According to Lewis, there's zero truth to the rumors of a shakeup at the top of the team, and even less to the chatter suggesting he might want out. Fred's the main reason I'm here, Hamilton said. I love working with him. We're in this together. It's not perfect, but we're building something. Then he turned his focus to the headlines making the rounds. Ultimately, it's nonsense what people have written. Most people don't know what's going on in the background. Please stop making up stuff. It's rare to hear Hamilton that blunt, but the context makes it clear why. This isn't just about paddock gossip. It's about the integrity of the project he's committed years of his life to. And it's about loyalty to a man he clearly respects. I'm here to win with Fred. He has my full support. Changing team principles mid-process? That's not something I'd ever be supportive of. Hamilton also took a moment to remind everyone that this isn't a short-term gig for him. This is literally just the beginning. I've only just started here. I'm here for the long haul. He acknowledged the SF25's shortcomings and the difficulty of stepping into a car he didn't help develop. But instead of frustration, he spoke with determination. We're learning. We're adapting. We're already working on next year's car, one I'll actually be involved in shaping.